Good evening, everyone. Sorry for my absence over the last day or two. I've been dealing with a cold or some sort of sickness that took me down. I've been wanting to get to this video over the mirror dimension, Doctor Strange, and the Reality Stone. So let's start out by going over the mirror dimension. The mirror dimension is a parallel dimension in the MCU that allows the user to practice their magical abilities and fight their enemies without the public's knowledge. Skilled sorcerers are able to fold matter and distort space. Those who use the power of the dark dimension have a stronger control over the mirror dimension to the point of being able to fold and warp space in reality.
You need a safe space to practice your spells.
In the first Doctor Strange movie, the Ancient One explained the mirror dimension to us.
You are now inside the mirror dimension, ever present but undetected. The real world isn't affected by what happens here. We use the mirror dimension to train, surveil, or sometimes to contain threats.
Doctor Strange later goes to use the mirror dimension on Caecilius to try and trap him in it. But as we know, that doesn't go as planned when Mordo explains that they may be trapped and they may not be able to affect the real world, but their connection to the dark dimension makes them stronger. And, as he said, they can kill us. So let's go over what we know about the mirror dimension. You can go into it and use it, and it doesn't affect what happens in the outside world. People on the outside have no idea what goes on inside of the mirror dimension. This could come in handy as the Avengers seem to be not telling everyone about why everybody got dusted and Thanos' snap. Perhaps they feel the public would blame them and we would have a repeat of the Sokovia Accords. You have to have your sling ring to use it and not get trapped inside of it. As far as we know, Thanos has no dark dimension powers, making it a perfect place to trap him. And I'm not sure if this has been brought up since the first Doctor Strange, but does Doctor Strange still consider himself a doctor? Would his ethics prevent him from killing Thanos? I bet his plan involves trapping him somehow in the mirror dimension. Doctor Strange did have his sling ring tucked into his gear and used it multiple times on Titan. So why didn't Doctor Strange use it directly on Thanos? As I was doing research for the mirror dimension, I came across something. Now I'm going to say I'm not sure if this is theory or fan fiction or if it's set in stone, but this is the first time I've heard this particular circumstance. So first, let's go over the source. MarvelCinematicUniverse.fandom.com looks like some sort of a wiki site where fans and different people can add in what they think or theories. So let's get on to what this says. But such a method appears to be unable to trap those with the Reality Stone due to its control over reality, seemingly negating the gateway's ability to warp into the mirror dimension and can be destroyed with enough power, as Thanos was able to use the Reality Stone to prevent the gateway from trapping him and then crushing it with the Power Stone. So let's go over this theory. I watched the scene on Titan and I never really saw the Reality Stone being used against the mirror dimension, but it may not be so simple. Perhaps Doctor Strange knew Thanos had the Reality Stone, so he didn't even bother to use a weapon that wouldn't work. But there may be more complex theory on this. Remember when Thanos fought the Hulk? The Russo brothers, whom we've learned not to trust, said Thanos did not use the Power Stone on the Hulk in their commentary after the movie. The Power Stone never glowed during that fight. But the Avengers 4 Prelude comic made a slight correction to this. In the comic, however, the artwork by Paco Diaz contradicts this sequence. When Diaz recreates the battle, we see the gem glowing in Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet, suggesting that he was using it to power up to fight Bruce Banner's alter ego. Now, it could be a case of editorial oversight, because just before this, Thanos did use the Power Stone to torture Thor by placing his gauntlet against Odin's son's skull, all to convince Loki to hand over the Tesseract. Perhaps it was just an oversight, perhaps it wasn't, but artists don't usually make this kind of mistake with their work. I've seen a theory that whenever Thanos acquires an Infinity Stone, something comes over him and possibly gives him some sort of strength. It's as if the stone's power runs through him, as had been confirmed in the past. Perhaps it changes him and part of the Infinity Stones dwell inside of him. If so, getting the gauntlet off his hand wouldn't do any good, as he potentially became stronger after acquiring each stone. The Avengers will then have to focus on getting the stones before Thanos gets them by going back in time via the quantum realm or possibly the mirror dimension. So, getting back to the original theory here, if the Reality Stone was what was in the way of Doctor Strange trapping Thanos in the mirror dimension, then we would need to focus on the scene at the Collector's Museum. I've often said we would be going back to that scene because the Russo brothers conveniently left out how the Collector lost the stone to Thanos. Supposedly, the Collector and his brother, the Grandmaster, are some of the most powerful beings in the universe. We really didn't see what happened here. We know from Thor the Dark World that the Collector was trying to get all the stones. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Which Avenger or Guardian goes back to the Collector's Museum to get the Reality Stone? Is the Reality Stone a defense against the mirror dimension? And as always, guys, if you like the video, please subscribe and hit the bell notification. Thanks for watching.